Hey guys, welcome to the Bingezone. On today's video, we are going to be recapping season 1 of The Rain with season 2 right around the corner. Now, without further ado, let's just jump into the recap. The series starts off pretty normal with the main character named Simone rushing to school to give a presentation. Shortly after she gets to school, her dad Frederick rushes to the school and drags her out, saying they need to evacuate before the rain starts. Her mom and her brother Rasmus are already in the car waiting for them. Frederick is now racing through the streets trying to get them to shelter while talking to his boss about not knowing what will happen once it starts to rain, as well as how far will the rain spread. They end up in a minor car crash and Frederick has his family take off on foot until they find a hidden bunker labeled Apollon that scans Frederick's palm prints and gives them access to the bunker, and then it begins to rain shortly after they make it inside. Once inside the bunker, Frederick gets them situated before donning a hazmat suit and informs them he will return while pulling Simone aside and tells her to protect Rasmus at all costs as he is the key, and then he leaves. A short while later, someone is knocking on the door and Simone opens the door despite her mom telling her not to, because if it was her father, he would have had his palm print scanned. That person is dying from the rain, and in order to protect them, the mom sacrifices herself and pushes the man out back into the rain, and the mom dies from the rain, but not before locking the kids back in the bunker. With the death of their mom, as well as being abandoned by their father, the kids mourn their parents, and Simone has flashbacks to when Rasmus was younger. He was really sick, and her father used an experimental virus on him to save his life. Now we skip forward 5 to 6 years later, and by now they are almost out of food, and Simone decides to don a hazmat suit and finally step out of the bunker after 6 years to see what's out there and to see if they can find food. What she sees is a thriving forest, but the world seems dead and no one is out there. She returns back to the bunker to tell Rasmus about what she saw, and suddenly their oxygen supply is cut off. Rasmus rushes her outside and they're surrounded by people with guns who want to take their bunker. It is then we're introduced to Martin, the leader of this group, a former soldier who was tasked with containing the infected individuals. Martin and his group lock Rasmus and Simone in a room within the bunker, and they begin ransacking for food and supplies for their group. They don't find any, and they're about to abandon Rasmus and Simone, but Simone tells them she knows the location of other bunkers and where other supplies are located, and she destroys the map, letting them know that they have to take her with him. Then at this time, Martin has a flashback back to when the outbreak just happened and how a woman he helped infected his whole battalion, and he was the only one who survived. So of course he's hesitant at first, but when a member of their group, Leah, passes out of hunger, Martin reluctantly agrees to have them accompany them. However, Patrick and Martin continue to harass them, but Rasmus is just happy to be outside the bunker after 6 long years. They make their way to the big city of Copenhagen as the first leg of their trip to the Apollon headquarters in Sweden. We get a flashback from Beatrice, this time as she, Leia, and Jean are running away from Martin and Patrick, who at the time wanted to steal their food. Beatrice ultimately uses her looks to get on their good side, and that's how this group was formed. Back in the present, they avoid the city as best as they could, and they run into a group of masked men that have heat-seeking missiles and drones. They escape the masked men and they make their way to a new bunker that has food that could last them a while, and Martin doesn't want to leave after years of wandering and being homeless. Simone, however, finds evidence that her father and co-workers could have found a cure and that her dad could still be alive, so she wants to leave to go to the headquarters of Apollon with her brother Rasmus. Martin tells them if they want to go, they can go, but he and his group are staying. Martin tells them to be careful around the city because people who are still alive are desperate and crazy and would kill them for their food as well as their supplies. Once Leia wakes up and finds out that they left, her and Beatrice decide to follow them to help them because they need hope that the cure could be real. The group unites in the city and they are met by a gang of marauders who try to rob them, and they all scatter. Martin decides not to let them go alone, so he decides to go and find them. So Martin and Patrick find their way back and everyone unites again before being overrun by marauders who end up stabbing Rasmus, and the group decides to escape the city while the marauders are fighting over their supplies. So they head back to the bunker and Rasmus is getting worse as his wound is gaping open. Martin decides that they should go see the doctor. Rasmus and Beatrice at this time get a bit closer to each other. They finally find the doctor, and once Simone tells her who they are, she blames their father for the death of her children. And at this moment, we get a flashback from Jean as he accidentally kills a child who he was hiding with from the strangers in masks. And back at the present, the doctor captures Rasmus and Simone and sends a live video feed to their father. Patrick finds them and kills the doctor. The strangers now show up and they surround the facility, and Jean decides to take a gun and rush out to distract them while the others escape. Thanks to Jean's distraction, the group has escaped and can't find the next bunker. However, they stumble onto a mansion and they are met with a man and two women. They are asked to leave their weapons at the door, and Martin finds this suspicious, but he reluctantly agrees since it's about to rain. They are given a place to sleep as well as a bathroom to take fresh showers and get themselves cleaned up. Martin is still suspicious of these people. Then we get a flashback for Leia, and we learn that she was a devout Christian who ended up in a bad situation and a train was ran on her, and the video was shared around her friends and family, and her mom rejected her because of this. Back at the present, we come to find out that the people in this house have a monthly ritual in which they sacrifice someone in the house and eat that person. They're a group of cannibals. The group are then given the choice if they want to stay or leave, and they run out of there, leaving their weapons and backpacks behind to get as far away from this place as possible. It is then we get a Patrick flashback, and he was just a slacker loser before the outbreak and the rain happened. Back at the present, the group split up. Beatrice and Rasmus stay behind while the others go and find the closest bunker. Beatrice and Rasmus begin to enjoy their day together. So the group finds the nearest bunker, but it looks like it was lived in, and after going through it, they see that a family once lived there. They find videos and begin to watch them, and they see that Frederick was experimenting on the family that lived there. It begins to rain, and Rasmus and Beatrice watch the rain, and some rain leaks and falls in on Beatrice's face. Rasmus and Beatrice are both shocked, and Rasmus decides to kiss her because he loves her, and if she dies, he dies with her. At the same time, Patrick tries to kiss Simone, and when she rejects him, he throws her out into the rain and leaves her for dead. But she doesn't die, and once Martin finds out what happens, he kicks Patrick out of the group and leaves him behind. After Rasmus and Beatrice have sex, she dies shortly after, yet Rasmus lives. Patrick comes and sees this and then leaves and gets captured by the strangers. The strangers start being nice to him, and then they begin to interrogate him for information about the group, and then they intensify it to torture. Rasmus carries Beatrice's body to the bunker, and Martin seals them away, afraid to spread the contamination, and Rasmus is distraught. Once Rasmus finally accepts that she is dead, he decides to turn himself into the strangers, and they come and get him. Martin and the group also end up capturing one of the strangers, whose name is Thomas, and they use him as a bargaining chip to try to get Rasmus back. Rasmus becomes too sick, and they all join the strangers and go with them to Apollon's HQ, where Rasmus and Simone are reunited with their father, Frederick. They find that Jean has also been taken to the bunker as well. All of them are given medication to drink, and Martin is suspicious, but Jean reassures them. And now we get flashbacks from Frederick about leaving his family, as well as the countless experiments he did on other individuals while trying to find someone who was similar to Rasmus, who was immune to the virus. So in the present, Frederick then tells Simone she has to escape with Rasmus, because for them to find the cure, they would have to kill Rasmus since the cure is in his spine. Frederick then finds out that Rasmus is contagious, and he tries to kill his own son because he doesn't want the virus to spread, since Rasmus has the strongest strain of the virus. Simone attacks her father and the group escape. When they get to the border of the quarantine zone, they come to find out that the pills that they took would blow up if they left the border. However, Simone and Rasmus never drank the pills, so they could escape, but she ultimately decides she won't leave her friends behind, and they escape back into the quarantine zone. And at the end of the season, we're introduced to a shady group who talk about a way to weaponize the virus, and they could use it to control the world once they get Rasmus back. And guys, that is the recap for season 1 of The Reign. I hope this video helped you guys out, and if you guys liked the video, definitely hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already, and until next time, binge on.